Piggybacking? Is that the right way to say it?
Piggybacking off one another?
Piggybacking.
That sounds statement. Now that you say it.
That's not piggybacking.
Piggy is right. Yeah.
Anyways, going off
pig
of
backing. That's not a thing.
No, that's not piggybacking.
Because piggybacking is like you're like
Giving a piggyback.
yeah,
Piggyback.
helping each other out.
Yeah.
It's the
Helping each other
backing
out.
part that sounds wrong.
Backing?
To piggyback
Off of
off
that.
of
There we
that.
go.
Yeah, we made it there eventually.
All right, welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Light and Salty Co podcast. This week we're going to be talking about the book of Micah.
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 Sorry.
Here's the... I'm chanting that every Easter for 3 years.
I feel like, have you been holding that in for a while?
Just
pretty much-
sporadically came out.
I mean, I feel like it's a natural
It's like a tick.
thing to hear from Shanna. You know, it's not that surprising.
Teetering on the edge of weird.
Teetering on weird. Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Well,
Fun fact, I love this book.
I could have never guessed.
I named my firstborn after this book.
And I've never called him Micah.
I know. I'm like, this is the
So
first
I'm
time
like,
hearing.
that's new.
Yeah.
He will try it.
I feel like he might not like it.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
He'd be like,
Actually, don't do it around other kids, though, because then they're going to pick up on it
Yeah.
and make fun
I
of
probably
him.
just won't do it.
Yeah. It's fine. The safer route. Wiser
what's
choice.
said in the podcast
Yeah.
stays in the podcast.
right.
That we
Anyways,
publicly post on the internet.
yes. Micah is one of the books that I taught in Bible school in Hawaii, and it was just like a really special way that God used to redeem a part of my story. So I love it. Anyways, so Micah the prophet, also known as the champion of the oppressed or the prophet of the poor, over and over he expressed God's judgment on the kingdoms because of their lack of morality. Surprise, surprise, running theme, lack of morality. He also spoke out against false prophets. So one of the things that Aaron had mentioned when we were teaching about the prophets was how to tell true prophet, false prophets. And that was because there was a common thing back then is that not only were there false prophets, but people preferred the false prophets because they were
gave the
telling
good
them,
news.
the things that they wanted to hear. And all that did was led people further astray. And that's like so many things these days that New Age or the spirituality stuff where it sounds really good, but it only leads you further astray. And so he was calling out against it because that was only giving them false security just to be like, oh yeah, we're fine, everything's fine, when really they were headed towards destruction and obviously eventually exile. So Micah is coming against that. Also, Micah and Isaiah were contemporary prophets, meaning that they had their ministry at the same time. There's also a lot of things that they say. Micah and Isaiah have almost identical chunks of verses, but it's not known whether Micah quotes Isaiah, if Isaiah quotes Micah, if they're just
God's giving the book the same
the
words.
same thing. But either way, they're around the same time. So piggybacking? Is that the right way to say it?
Piggybacking off one another?
Yeah.
Piggybacking.
That sounds statement. Now that you say it.
That's not piggybacking. Piggy is right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's
going
not
off of
pigbacking.
That's not a thing.
No, that's not piggybacking.
Because piggybacking is like you're like
Giving a piggyback.
yeah, helping each other out.
Yeah.
It's the
Helping each other
backing
out.
part that sounds wrong.
Backing?
To piggyback
Off of
off of
that.
There we
that. We made it there eventually. Same kind of people. Micah is prophesying. He's predicting Assyria destroying Israel, Judah being exiled, the return from the exile, and a great promise in the book, which I'm sure Shanna will cover. Jesus. Anyways, so
Like, oh no, what if I don't?
No, I'm pretty sure you will. You'll get that one.
You'll get that one. I believe in you.
You can do it. Anyways, so
nervous right now.
Heidi, just pop back in at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just in
she
case. It'll
misses
just
it.
gently.
Nudge you in the right
Jenna,
direction.
what about this verse?
Okay, so the timeline is over the King Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. And so it was a turbulent period of time. Assyrians were taking over everything. And Micah probably saw his prophecy over Israel fulfilled as they were exiled in 722. And then it shakes up the southern kingdom, but not enough to change their ways, unfortunately. They used to feel superior. They probably still do feel superior because they're like, we're still here.
Again, like they had the temple. They had
the
God's
temple.
presence
They
with
had-
them.
yes,
so
they have
they
a
were
false
undefeatable.
sense of confidence.
Yeah.
Yes. So some interesting points here. In chapter 2, Micah gives predictions of judgments to the towns that they form a circle around his hometown. And he uses wordplay to describe it, which is just a pun based off of the meaning of the town's name. And it's usually included in the footnotes of your Bible. So if you want to look into that.
The way you pointed at Aaron during that,
I know,
I'm
I was like,
does Aaron have?
You're going to cover that next, right? I was thinking, for some reason, I thought that she had a Bible open.
No,
but
I don't read the Bible.
which are the things that Aaron should be noting and posting about later. No. Okay, and so another thing is that Micah's style of writing is like a courtroom. So if it helps you when you're reading this to picture it, he's calling the people to come to court. And so God is the prosecuting attorney, the witness, and the sentencing judge. And then the elements of creation are witnesses, and then the people themselves are on trial for not keeping their part of the covenant, which I would never want to go on trial against God. So,
No.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so for their mindset, the southern kingdom felt superior, as we mentioned, that just because they had Jerusalem, they had the temple, they had the place where people would come to worship. And so they figured, well, God's dwelling place is here. We're safe. Like,
It's kind of like before the temple was built, like when they would bring the ark out into
Yes.
war to be like, oh, see, God's
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
He's not going to let us be destroyed.
Right.
And then there is the story where they are defeated and the ark gets taken away by enemy nations. So it's
Right.
like that same mentality.
right.
that they
Yeah,
had.
and they kind of took this view of like, well, God is dwelling with us, so we're the special ones.
Mm-hmm.
We're the holy ones. And so kind of they thought they were untouchable. And Micah's warning them that the temple's not going to save them. They actually needed to turn to God. And so the nation appeared religious with all of their sacrifices and gifts for the temples, but inside they didn't love God. We've talked about this in previous. There's a lot of the outward actions, but the inward was not changed. It was not.
Here's, I think it's actually a verse in Isaiah.
Oh, really?
Really, just
sure?
no. She'll start saying, "There's some verse somewhere in the
Somewhere,
Bible."
probably Isaiah. Yeah.
Maybe somewhere in the middle, second.
Yeah.
No, where it says like they cry to me with their mouths, but their hearts are far from
Yes.
me. And so again, it's that picture of like, even though they are crying to Yahweh, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
but they're not
Yeah.
actually living out what they're
meant to be doing.
their
Yeah.
covenant.
So the people here, the poor were being taken advantage of, and you couldn't rely on the justice system or the priests. So the very systems you're meant to be trusted in, you couldn't, which I feel like we have our own experience with that. I'll leave that at that. If you had enough money, you were doing good, and you could pay the prophets. Like I said, prophets would tell you what they wanted to hear, especially if you paid them. And so you're like, yeah, here, tell me this good news. And then
There's even in Kings, maybe it is even Ahaz, like during this time. I can't remember, or maybe it was Ahab. Let me just mix those two up. But like where the kingdom of Israel and Judah are coming together to like defeat the enemies. And they're like, let's bring some prophets in. So they bring tons of prophets in and they all prophesy, yes, you're going to win, go to war.
Right.
And then the king of Judah's just like, well, like, do you have any other ones? And he's like, well, there's this one, but he never prophesies what I want.
I
So
always love that part.
We
And
want to
then he
listen
comes
to
and
him.
he tells him, don't
Yeah,
you? And
he's
he's
like,
like, I told you. How many times are you going to tell me what I don't want to hear? I love it. I know. There's just like,
there's like 200 prophets that prophesy positively
Yes,
for them,
and
and
then
then it's
the
just like
one.
one. It's just like he never prophesies what I want, so I don't ask him anymore.
yeah, I know. I just love the honesty in it. Well, and that's like we posted about even in with the prophet who listened to the other prophet and then got killed. It's like even if it sounds good, if it contradicts what God is actually saying or what the Bible is saying, it's not good, and it's going to lead to your destruction.
Right.
So yeah, all of the kings continued to turn people away from God. They turn people towards other gods, like an evil worship. We've mentioned the evil worship of the pagan gods many times. So not only were they turning away from the good God, they were turning to just horrific practices, and they were just so used to like the sacrifice and everything being ritualistic that it was no more about the heart. So God's like, I don't, like we've said, I don't care about the ritual.
It's like, I don't actually need that.
It's like, I want your heart. I want you to be transformed. I want you to understand the weight of your sin and that kind of thing. So, So Micah says, all of your religious activity means nothing if you don't do what the Lord actually requires, which is to do justice, step in and deliver the weak and the wronged, love mercy. So the word used for mercy is hesed, which we've talked about in the Psalms. It's the word used to describe the everlasting covenant. And then finally, to walk humbly. So to bring your life into conformity with God's will, to put your wants and selfishness aside and do what's best for the other people and for what God wants you to do. So the people were more concerned about observing rituals than living righteousness. And there was lots of warnings and warnings about judgment and rebuke, but those are also matched with their promises of hope, which once again just shows God's character. He's holy and loving at the same time. Yeah. So the main idea is, as I kind of said in the last little bit, is God requires his people to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with him.
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done.
So some themes throughout the book of Micah. Just to kind of go off that, like just the complete moral and spiritual decay and corruption of Israel. In 7:2 it says, the faithful have disappeared from the land, and there is no one left who is upright. They all live in wait for blood. So I think just the weight of that, it's just like everyone, like that, just the darkness and heaviness of living in a city or society like that. And then God's outrage against the social injustice that's happening in Israel. Again, like you said, the oppression of vulnerable society, so women, children, the poor. And then the rebuke against corrupt leaders, priests, and prophets. In 7:3, it also says, their hands are skilled to do evil. The official and judge ask for a bribe. The powerful dictate what they desire. It was just a complete corrupt society. And so throughout the book of Micah, it's just showing that over and over again and calling out specific ways that they're doing evil. But I just say that it's like they're skilled to do evil. It's like, right? A skill is something you learn and grow, and it's like you practice. And so it's like they're growing in their, it's very dark. And then, another theme, again, is always God's character. So in Micah, there's almost this tension between his justice and his mercy shown throughout the book. So it's like his justice demands judgment. Like judgment has to come for the evil and the disobedience. Which includes the enemy nations coming and destroying them. But then we see this tension with his mercy where, there's passages of hope with God promising that the remnant of his people will be restored. And I just love in 7:18 it says, who is a God like you, pardoning iniquity and passing over the transgression of the remnant of your possession? He does not retain his anger forever, because he delights in showing clemency. He will again have compassion on us, and he will tread our iniquities underfoot. And again, this reflects the theme in Micah of pointing towards a messianic future king, which I will leave to Shanna.
You're going to get it, Shanna. You're going to
get it. I was just going to say, I have a battle verse in chapter 7.
What is it?
When I fall, I shall rise, because he holds me up. When I sit in darkness, so like the storms of life, the Lord will be a light to me. He will always be there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I highlighted this week too.
Which one is that? 7, 8 to 10. Just when you're talking about the promise and the hope, I was like, I find hope in my Bible. Surprise!
1, 2, 3.
Okay. All right, Jesus. Hope I get this right.
Okay.
So even though this was written 700 years before Jesus, it gets as specific as to say where this ruler will be born. Micah emphasizes a coming ruler and a just kingdom, and that ruler is going to be born in Bethlehem. And Bethlehem is interesting because it was the burial site of Jacob's wife Rachel. It's the setting of Ruth's story, so it's like not just a random thing. And by being in Ruth's story, it sets it up to be like to point back to the Davidic line, right? So that's a really important part of linking to Jesus. It also talks about how the ruler of Israel will be a shepherd of his flock. Jesus, our good shepherd, and points that he's coming forth from ancient days, like the beginning, God, the Trinity, like getting that concept back. So
Yeah.
did I miss anything?
You got it.
I got it. Okay.
Yes.
Good job, Shanna.
All right, too,
You're
like
still in.
kind of what you say. It's like it prophesies about him being like a good shepherd, the shepherd. And again, in a time where all of their leaders were corrupt, like you can imagine how helpless, the people felt. Where it's like everyone in power, whether it's prophets, priests, or the king, it's like you feel so helpless. You can probably it's hard to imagine even having a good shepherd.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
could use a good shepherd right about now.
Yeah.
Well, we have one.
yeah. But so it's like it just again, now it's like leaders are still corrupt.
Jesus, he's alive. 1, 2, 3.
But it points us to, it's like, where should we put our hope now
Yeah.
too? When we have corrupt leaders, it's like we're called to the same hope of someone outside of our
Outside
world.
of humans.
Outside of humans.
Yeah.
Who sees it all?
Who sees it all? Yeah. All right. So your key verse for Micah was also the main message, and Heidi read it out. It's chapter 6, verse 8. Things to keep in mind. As Chelsea was just mentioning, Micah talks a lot about leadership. So paying attention to the difference between corrupt leadership and righteous leadership. Also pay attention to what kind of injustices does Micah call out, and how does that compare to today, the world today? What kind of injustices show up similar or different, or compare those. And then I think this is one of the most important ones, and it goes along with our key verse, is paying attention to how quote unquote real faith is different than just going through religious motions.
Traditions.
Yeah. Because that's the part that's key for salvation is
Right.
faith, not doing your works.
Well, and I was just thinking too, I think a lot of times we talk about that based off of people who are they're like, oh, I do this and I do that, like as in they don't have the right motives. But I think too, there are believers who feel kind of stagnant in their faith, and I think it's because they don't realize that they're going through the motions as these things without it being a heart thing.
Yeah.
So you have to like make that connection. You have to like fall in love with God and Jesus to understand why you're doing those things. So I just also want to encourage people, if you're feeling like you are just checking off the boxes, but you're truly not trying to have it be that, there's probably just like a disconnect between your relationship that you can lean into.
Yeah.
Especially when it says it's like to love kindness. It's like, I can act kind, but is it just because of social pressures?
Right.
Is it because
Right.
of people pleasing? Is it like,
Yeah.
it's just like, do I actually have God's heart in that? And again, when you, in Christ, you are given a new heart.
Yeah.
One that is righteous and like
Right.
wants to do what God wants to do, and you have the power of the Spirit. But like, it's to reflect on, it's like, do I actually love doing what God has called me to do?
Well, and I think like you were saying, it's typically we typically put this on people that have wrong motivations. And I don't know about anybody else, but when I think of that, I think of like nefarious motivations. Like they're putting on a performance to trick outside
or
people,
impress them.
But I also think there's just the people that are doing it because they don't understand who God is, and they're doing it with what could be considered good motivations, as in to like get closer to God, but they're earning something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what
they're
I'm
trying
doing.
to like
get to heaven.
That's what I mean. It's like, and they're just kind of feeling, and if you are doing it to earn it, they're gonna feel like
stall
this is
out.
not. Why is everybody?
It's not working.
Talking about
Yeah.
life overflowing and freedom, and it's because you're. Yeah, that's what I was saying. But there being a disconnect, and you have to lean into that, because once you realize that relational.
And I think too, it's like I know God was teaching me this more about the self-control aspect of like, these are fruits of the Spirit. And so it's like, it needs to be it's not you conjuring up the energy to be able to do these things. It's like, you're supposed to rely on the Spirit to like have that overflow naturally out of you. And so it's like, sometimes you can get discouraged of like, why can't I be kind? Why can't I be patient? Why can't I be filled with joy? And it's just like when you're trying to conjure it up yourself, you're always going to burn out. You're going to be exhausted. Yeah, and it's like it was never meant to be. Like these are fruits of the Spirit, which means the Spirit is going to produce that in us if we rely on Him and are in relationship. So,
well, and I can't remember where in the New Testament it says this, but it says, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." Or you will be obedient. And I think so many people look at that like, oh, this is how I show him I love him. This is how I love him, as I have to be obedient, and then I'll earn this like loving relationship. And we're reading it backwards in the fact that he's more saying like if you're in love with me, like if you're in love,
abide in me,
like
right?
if when you're in love with me, these things are going to come easy. Like they're, it's going to naturally flow out of you. And so kind of to speak to what you're saying, Heidi, like if you're feeling stagnant because you're doing all of these things, you're like, I'm being obedient. Like, I'm not saying stop being obedient, but focus on falling in love. Yeah. Like just get to know who he is, fall in love with him. And then the obedience part just is the natural overflow of that, rather than us reading it like, because we are reading it like if you love me, you would do this.
It's like a manipulative tactic.
And that's
like,
not
well,
what's
if you
going
love
on.
me, you do it. But really,
or
he's
even
saying
a fear thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I
like
mean.
Kids
Like,
being good because they're afraid of their parents.
Yeah. But no, what he's saying is like just love me. Yeah, and then this stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, and Jesus says like, those who abide in me, like it's you're going to be dead if you're not abiding in the branch, right? So it's like if you abide in him and rest in him and trust in him, it's going to be an overflow that comes naturally from him, not your own, because that leads to burnout, which I've experienced. I've experienced myself when you try to just do things by your own strength, and it usually doesn't end up going so well.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good book.
It's a good book to name your child after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
All right. Enjoy, Micah.
Bye.
Bye.